Hey, Mike, guess what?
What?
Mike, raging rivers, hungry bears, drastic avalanches, roaring seas, no matter how prepared you are, a walk in the woods can go from innocent to disaster in the blink of an eye.
Yeah.
When pushed to their breaking point, humans are capable of astonishing things that you would never thought of possible.
Yeah.
Listen to In the Wild as they explore the most heroic, terrifying, and phenomenal stories of real people who survived the unsurvivable. Learn what went wrong, what went right, and how you can make it out alive if the worst case ever happened to you. In the Wild podcast reviews on Apple include Love Your Podcast from Laura. It's scary how relentless nature can be. I always enjoy this podcast at work. It keeps me on the edge of my seat. Or how about we go with Hiker 0001? Good stories and good narration. I like when there are sound effects that add to the ambience of the story. In the Wild podcast on Apple Podcasts and everywhere you get your podcast downloads.
Broadcasting across the nation from the East Coast to the West, keeping you up to date on technology while enjoying a little whiskey on the side, with leading-edge topics, along with special guests, to navigate technology in a segmented, stylized radio program. The information that will make you go, Pull up a seat, raise a glass with our hosts as we spend the next hour talking about technology for the common person. Welcome to TechTime Radio with Nathan Mumm.
Welcome to Tech Time with Nathan Mumm, the show that makes you go, Technology News of the Week, the show for the everyday person talking about technology, broadcasting across the nation with insightful segments on subjects weeks ahead of the mainstream media. We welcome our radio audience of 35 million listeners to an hour of insightful technology news. Why should you listen? Well, each week we cover the weekly top technology subjects without a political agenda by verifying the facts. Well, verifying, you like that? By verifying the facts, and we do it with a sense of humor.
No comment.
In less than 60 minutes, and of course, with a little whiskey on the side. I'm Nathan Mumm. Welcome to our show today. We live stream during our show on 5 of the most popular platforms, including YouTube, Twitch.tv, Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn. We encourage you to watch us live or visit us online at TechTimeRadio.com. Tweet us during the show at hashtag TechTimeRadio, and we'll do our best to respond to your tweets on the air. If you enjoy the show, we'd like you to give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or whatever podcast replay service you may be using. I'm your host, a technologist with 30 years of technology expertise working for Fortune 500 companies across the country. My co-host here, Mike O'Day, was out sick last week. He's still kind of coughing a little bit.
I wasn't out sick last week.
Well, no. I guess you were here last week. Or the week before you were out
thanks for
sick.
remembering that.
Okay,
Maybe you should update your script a little bit.
There you go. Mike's a human behavior expert living in the Seattle area with a master's degree in forensic psychology. Mike is here to help keep me from geeking out while providing insight into human behavior and how it interacts with technology.
Yeah, I don't think that's possible.
Okay. We are two friends with different backgrounds, but bring the best technology show possible every week for our family, friends, and fans to enjoy. Welcome, everyone, to the show today. I got both of my cohorts here coughing a little bit. Odie's a little under the weather. We got Mike.
You just got a one-finger salute there, buddy.
I did. That was the old David one-finger salute. Let's get ready now, though, to start today's show.
Now on today's show.
All right. Today on Tech Time with Nathan Mumm, TechTime's Best of the Best from CES 2022, part 2 of our 3-part review of CES 2023. Today we focus on gadgets and unique products with our TechTime expert, Nick Espinosa. He's not joining us for security. He's going to talk about all these great CES gadgets, and they're called oddities because they don't really quite fit into any bucket. So this is the Oddities show. We got the oddities, and the next week we're going to do the old laptops, cell phones, and the boring stuff that comes out at CES.
The stuff that everybody's going to buy?
Yeah, the stuff. Okay. So today we're going to do the unique stuff. Then, of course, who is making a $10 billion investment over several years in OpenAI, the pioneer artificial intelligent research lab behind ChatGPT, and why are they doing it? Years of thinking about what makes up an asteroid and how to destroy them needs to be corrected. You're going to be correcting us on that, right, Mike?
Sure.
Okay, and then we explore why technology companies across the world are laying people off. In addition, we have our standard features, including Mike's Mesmerizing Moment, This Week in Technology, and a possible Nathan Nugget. As always, we have our pick of the day, whiskey tasting during the commercial, If we like our selected whiskey pick of the day, it'll either get a 1, 2, or 0 thumbs up if we don't like it. And you know what? Nothing's better than today's Ellington Reserve Root Beer Whiskey. Okay,
so you're just going to jump right into that.
I'm excited about it. It's a root beer whiskey. I know somebody else.
It's a flavored whiskey that Marc doesn't like.
Marc does not like that, so I'm sure his Mumble will not be very pro-positive. But I very much like the drink. I started a little bit early before the show, so let me just tell you.
Yeah, you do that often.
I do. Okay, all right. Well, now
you lush.
Yeah, let's move on to our top stories of this week.
Here are our top technology stories of the week.
All right, story number 1. Microsoft Corporation is making a $10 billion Microsoft investment over several years in OpenAI, the pioneering artificial intelligence research lab behind ChatGPT. And, I'm just in love with ChatGPT.
Yes, I know.
To your chagrin, a little bit.
In fact, I got letters from ChatGPT telling me that you love it so much.
That I love it so much? Yeah. I do. Nothing's better than this. Now, let's go to the Bloomberg report on the breaking news.
Ago, Microsoft is to boost its investment in ChatGPT maker OpenAI. This isn't entirely a surprise. Some folks last week were talking about the idea that this could happen. This will be the third investment in about 3 years. They also made investments in 2019 and 2021. Right now, they are considering an investment of $10 billion. This, of course, is ChatGPT is a bit of a talk of the town, if you will. It's very impressive in terms of this AI technology. It can write poetry, create content, even help folks solve problems. So again, Microsoft boosting its investment in ChatGPT.
All right. Well, Microsoft didn't officially disclose the total value of the investment on Monday, but a person familiar with the discussion said that it's over $10 billion in multiple-year payments. The investment from Microsoft will allow it to continue its independent research and development that AI is incredibly increasing using safe and useful, powerful AI in a statement from OpenAI. So now let me just tell you this. Microsoft is not investing into this to allow the independent research to develop. They're investing in this for one reason only. Microsoft has struggled in the search algorithm process ever since Google came up with their search engine. So Microsoft's making a play to hopefully be able to leverage OpenAI in the upcoming years to have it be its default search engine for Microsoft Bing.
Okay. So they're going to take down Google with the...
Well, they're investing into the OpenAI technology. They want people to get used to it.
I know, according to the latest Google stuff coming out of Google, maybe they won't need to worry about that. Everybody's freaking out about what's going on with Google.
Yeah, we'll be talking about that a little bit later also. So there you go. Microsoft is funding the process of ChatGPT to create human-like conversation text in response and prompts to engage users for search.
Okay.
All right. I think you got story number 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So an asteroid.
Yeah.
That threatens the Earth. What do?
You shoot it down, or you send a bomb in the middle of the asteroid. You land on the asteroid and you destroy it to save the world.
Okay. So you're talking about very popular old movies,
science fiction movies.
Yeah. Right. Well, that may be a little harder than it may seem.
Why is that?
A new study that has been analyzing actual bits from an asteroid that were visited by a Japanese space mission finds that might not be as simple as it seems. We always talk about these kind of things. We even talk about it in the movies about all these different ways of getting rid of this stuff.
Okay.
Unfortunately, some of these asteroids are not so easy to destroy like that because they are more porous. They're kind of imagine a big sponge in space where you have all these smaller pieces conglomerating together where there's a lot of neutral space in between them. So if you hit them with something, they absorb a lot of the shock.
Okay.
This is the case with an asteroid called Itokawa, which was sampled by the Japanese Space Agency's Hayabusa mission, which visited the rock in 2005 and returned with its samples to Earth in 2010. Unlike monolithic asteroids, which is what you see in these movies, Itokawa is not a single lump of rock, but belongs to the rubble pile family, which means it's entirely made up of loose boulders and rocks, with almost half of it being empty space.
So you're saying like a Nerf ball? Is that what you're kind of saying?
Sure. Yeah, that's a good analogy.
Okay.
The scientists and colleagues analyzed tiny bits of the rubble and dust brought back from Itokawa. They were surprised by the results, showing that the space rock is particularly ancient and resilient, dating back billions of years rather than the several hundreds of thousands of years expected for similar asteroids. Such an astonishingly long survival time for an asteroid the size of Itokawa is attributed to the shock-absorbent nature of the rubble material. In short, they found that Itokawa was like a giant space cushion, and which would be very difficult to destroy. The finding has implications for how we might one day protect Earth from a potential impact by a large asteroid careening our way. For one thing, the potential long lifespan of rubble pile asteroids means they're likely even more common than previously thought.
Okay.
That also means that the notion of simply smashing up an approaching asteroid with a metaphorical equivalent of a huge baseball bat is not the best approach.
Okay.
The good news is that they can use the information to their advantage. If an asteroid is detected too late for a kinetic push, we can then potentially use a more aggressive approach, like using the shock wave of a close-by nuclear blast to push rubble aside.
So what you're saying is, instead of putting a bomb on the asteroid, shoot something else up in space and then have the waves of it, then push it back.
Explode it nearby, and the shock waves would potentially push it out of the way.
Why did it take them 20 years to do the research to tell us it was a sponge? Because Hollywood was involved in it.
Me being the awesome astrophysicist that I am, I can't really tell you that because I'm not an astrophysicist.
I'm looking for that information for next week.
Okay, well, all right. Well, I don't know if you remember, but DART, which was a NASA experiment, recently tried a kinetic push approach with that mission.
Yeah, we talked about it on the air.
Yep. And so they're saying that in the case where a kinetic push may not work, a nuclear blast may work.
Or just a big net. Why not? You see Spaceballs? Remember Spaceballs? You just need a big vacuum cleaner in space. You know what I mean?
It's very difficult to share actual space.
No, I'm thinking
knowledge with you,
because
you always Star Trekifies it.
It's okay, or Spaceballs. Okay, well,
Spaceballs, or Galaxy Quest, let's get some Tholians in here and wrap up a web around it.
That's right. See, that's exactly what would work. I'm sure that wouldn't work very well though.
No.
Although it does in the season 3 of Star Trek Picard.
Okay, all right. Let's.
The Star Trek Picard's coming out next month, right? Are you caught up on Star Trek Picard?
No, I don't actually have that streaming service.
You don't have Paramount?
Nope.
Okay, well, we got to get you caught up on season 2.
Okay.
All right. Okay, there you go.
Let's move on, shall
Story
we?
number 3. Why all the tech layoffs? So far, in 2023, there have been 235 tech companies with layoffs. 76,652 people were impacted. That's an average of 3,194 people per day. In 2022, there were around 240,000 people affected by tech layoffs. And you can find all this information at trueup.io.
They hired ChatGPT to do all that.
No. This is trueup.io that always talks about technology layoffs. So you can go take a look at that. That's trueup.io/layoffs. Now, we have the news that Microsoft is laying off 10,000 workers as a weakening economy crimples the software demand. We have, in addition, Spotify cuts 6% of its staff, about 10,000 employees nationwide, citing a needed to improve efficiency. Spotify's announcement comes at a time when technology companies are facing a downturn after 2 years of pandemic-driven growth, during which they hired aggressively. Why are these tech companies laying off so many people? Let's take a look at a TechTime's special report here to explain what happened during the pandemic that is causing the issues today.
Company-wide announcements from tech CEOs have all had similarities recently.
This is a very difficult decision.
Tough decision.
Netflix has made big cuts, so has Shopify, Snap, Twitter. Well, maybe that's a unique circumstance. Picture it, Silicon Valley 2019. Then, of course, the pandemic hit. People began shopping from home, binge watching. Not only did the revenues of many of these tech companies skyrocket, but so did their headcount. Revenues stayed high through 2021, and many tech CEOs thought the growth would continue at the same rate they had seen for the last 2 years. So they continued the hiring spree, and not just a lot of employees, but some expensive employees.
From now on, we're going to be metaverse first, not Facebook first.
The tech industry had the exceptionally pronounced experience of growing during the pandemic. And now, while the rest of the labor market is growing, they're having the exceptional experience of not.
Huh.
All right. So this is what we got, right? So the start of this year, Amazon announced they're going to cut in their 18,000 jobs because of uncertain economy. Then in November of last year, remember Meta announced that it would cut 13% of its workforce. A total of 11,000 employees were let go. Now Google, parent company Alphabet, just this week cut 12,000 jobs in the latest staff reductions to hit the tech industry this week. And Mike, let's kind of talk about this.
There's nothing more to ward off a coming recession than by getting rid of everybody that works for you.
Okay, so let's talk about this. And we're pretty deep talking about this in our staff meeting last night, right? When lots of opinions. Gwen had some great opinions. We had some opinions. So let's talk a little bit about this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody during the pandemic, these tech companies increased hiring at astronomical rates. I mean, the highest rates that some of these companies have ever seen in their existence during the pandemic.
Yes, because they're trying to compensate and capitalize on what's going on in the workforce.
And
right?
the benefits of the workforce was if you had a lot of employees, you had more government funding that could help out your organization.
Yeah,
you had
buyouts. You got all this stuff going on.
You had
the bottom line here is that this is the person said it at the very end.
Yeah.
While we're starting to look at a normalization of what we were pre-pandemic, now these corporations are struggling because in their mind, things were going to keep getting better for them.
Yep.
And now we're trying to get back to a normal way of living.
So people hired.
Why doesn't that make sense?
So we hired people who work from home during the pandemic. Had to do very little work because they didn't get properly onboarded and trained, right? Now, maybe some people did work very hard. So I'm just making a general assumption here of a lot of things that goes on. Then we have this guy by the name of Elon Musk. He goes on into Twitter. He fires 30,000 employees, right?
Yeah.
And now all these companies are looking at that saying, gee, you know what? Twitter got rid of 70% of their workforce that they had previously. All those, we had our Twitter mess song that we talked about, all these employees that had all the free food in the morning, they free cafeterias that were available for them, all these benefits that did very little work for the technology company per se. And now Twitter had some road bumps, of course. Elon Musk made some mistakes, which he does.
Well,
often.
this is very complex because we're talking about social and economic units. We're talking about psychology, we're talking about sociology, we're talking about economy, we're talking about capitalizations, we're talking about all these different things that work to keep us a country.
Okay.
Or a big social.
Keep us employed, yep.
Right? So as a business owner, it makes sense that you would do certain things and adjust as the economy does certain things.
Okay.
Right? From the other end of the spectrum, you have all these people who are dependent upon these corporations who are now floating in a mass of, oh crap, what do I do now? Because are they hiring back these people? Well, some of them are.
Well,
right?
So here's interesting. The venture capitalist groups are still staying at a steady rate. So the venture capitalist groups haven't disappeared, right?
Well, they're not going to.
And so now you have all these employees and some of these big idea thinkers.
Those are the guys that are creating part of the problem, aren't they?
Well, I don't know. I actually think the big companies lay off.
Your investors are highly prioritized over anybody else.
Yeah.
Right? They get their cut before anybody else does, right? So
you're a stockholder of a company.
That's right. So So when we look at this kind of stuff, who are they trying to make happy?
Well,
Are they trying to make the
no, not the stockholder. How much influence? I mean, I own lots of Disney stock, I own Amazon stock, I own lots of Microsoft stock, right? How much influence do I have? If I want Microsoft to do something some way, even with my proxy voting and everything I can do.
If you're a venture capitalist and you are providing a significant portion of somebody's operating capital,
yeah,
I think you're going to have a bigger stake in the ROI than if you go and buy some Disney stock down the road.
What I actually think is happening is people are finding out that a lot of times they're not accurate justifications to hire people, and we hire people and just hire people and probably don't give them the greatest amount of tasks to do, what they need to be done, and accountability with KPIs.
I think this really just boils down to the corporate greed that motivates these folks.
Okay.
To capitalize on situations where they can continue to make profits. And then when they turn around and see a bleak horizon, they start doing things that guarantees that they're going to have overhead. So part of that is getting rid of your workforce.
I think the
there
next 2 years.
Corporate loyalty.
No, there is no
There's
corporate.
no such thing.
If anybody thinks a corporation's loyal to you, that's the funniest thing. But I do think this will create and spurn a bunch of new venture capitalist technology groups to come up with different items.
This is one of the reasons why you see the gig community becoming a larger and larger piece of the workforce.
Yeah.
You see
Uber Eats, Uber drivers.
Graphics
artists on the side.
People starting their own businesses and stuff, and this glut of people trying to figure out how to exist without these big corporate faceless entities dictating the feudalistic system in which they work.
Okay, wow, those are a lot of big words there.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, that ends our top technology stories of the week. Coming up, we have TechTime's Best of the Best from CES 2023 Oddities, part 2 of our 3-part review of CES. Today, we focus on items that do not fit in a box, so we call them oddities. This will be right up mine and Nick's and yours, Adam, so, just not in the box, because I think we're all out-of-box thinkers, don't you?
Well, I've been called an oddity by more than one person.
Okay, well, there you go. All right. Next week, again, we're going to have the laptop, desktops, and phones of CES. Pretty boring stuff. Hopefully, we get through that quickly. But join us today.
That's your favorite place.
That's right. Join us today on the segment. Will be Nick Espinosa, our TechTime cyber expert, that's going to be talking about gadgets and oddities on CES. We're going to take a break right here. You're listening to TechTime Radio with Nathan Mumm. Hey, Mike, I'm looking for some help writing our blog post for TechTime Radio.
Well, you should try Phosphor AI. It's an online service that will save you hours of work with your content creation. Simply type in your title, and their AI software will get to work writing a high-quality original article for you. You'll need to review the article and take 15 to 20 minutes to make necessary edits before publishing, but you'll get free articles just for signing up, so you can try out the service and see how it works for you.
How many articles do I get free?
I already said you get 3 free articles. You should listen when I'm talking to you. Phosphor AI pricing is very reasonable for the quality of content that you'll get.
Why waste time writing the content yourself when you get Phosphor AI to do it for you? Visit them online today at Phosphor AI. Again, that's PHOSPHORAI.com. Welcome back to Tech Time with Nathan Mumm. Tech Time Radio is a weekly hour technology show that talks about current technology in a simple format without having to geek out. Brought to you by myself, Nathan Mumm, and Mike Day. We just had our first whiskey tasting during the break. Now let me tell you about what we are sipping in our pick of the day. During the show today, we have chosen Ellington Reserve Root Beer Whiskey, 70 proof, $19.99. According to Total Wines and More, who distributes this flavored whiskey. The great taste of your favorite classic treat. This flavorful yet smooth Canadian whiskey highlights fresh aromas of vanilla with licorice overtones. Each sip has a warm, spicy root beer notes and a great whiskey kick in the finish. Perfectly enjoyed over ice cream or a float or on a summer day. What do you think of this?
Yeah, that's what I got. Totally.
Is that what you got? Well, this is 70 proof.
I don't know yet. My jury's still out on that. It has an initial nice taste, but the licorice overtone
is a little strong for you.
Kind of discordant. It just doesn't seem to fit well.
It doesn't. Okay. Well, I'm enjoying this. It reminds me of a Of a dad's root beer, because it has that licorice taste. I think it reminds me of a dad's root beer with a little bit of kick.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay. Well, continuing on, we are going to get ready to have our Tech Time Best of the Best from CES 2023 Oddities segment with Nick Espinosa. All right. Connecting on our Comcast live stream, we have Nick Espinosa. He's an expert in cybersecurity and network infrastructure. Nick has consulted with clients ranging from small business to the Fortune 100 level. In 1998, at age 19, Nick founded Windy City Networks, later acquired in 2015. Nick then created Security Fanatics, where he is the chief security fanatic. Let's welcome Nick to our Comcast video stream to start our next segment.
Hi, Nick.
Hi, Nick. How you doing, Nick?
No intro music?
So Odie's looking
I don't know.
through. Odie's looking through the intro music. Once we get the intro music, we'll be good to go here. All right.
Dun, 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 dun.
Well, I hope you all feel better.
You know what? I feel fine. So the rest of this poor place here is it's germ free. Not a germ-free zone. It's a
What are you talking about?
Infested.
We're wearing
I'm
hazmat
halfway
suits.
across the country right now. So
That's right. Well, Nick, we have 8 products that hit our Tech Times Best of the Best for CES 2023 in a unique category that's not really a category within itself. So we're going to call it the Oddities Group. I'm going to learn a lot of information today, hopefully from you, on your expertise to tell us if you think these products are valid or vaporware. Are you ready? And Mike, are you guys ready?
Yeah, I can't wait.
All right, here we go.
Do it.
Okay. All right, do you have the intro music? Okay, we got your intro music. Here we go.
Welcome to the segment we call Ask the Experts, with our TechTime Radio expert, Nick Espinosa.
There we go. All right.
And go.
All right. The 55-inch displace, DISPLACE OLED screen fastens to your wall or window entirely with big suction cups. So a displace TV weighs less than 20 pounds. It can be easily secured on a wall by simply bringing it close to the wall and then slightly pushing up on the magical stick suction technology that they have. Now, it's a proprietary active loop vacuum technology. So not only is the television cool, but their whole suction aspect is supposed to be first rate also. Displaced TVs have multiple rechargeable batteries that can be popped in and out individually. Batteries can be charged one at a time while the TV remains fully operational using the Displace's proprietary hot swappable battery system. Each Displaced TV averages about a month of total battery life for an average usage of 6 hours of activity TV per day. Now, Displaced TVs are primarily controlled by natural hand gestures. So it's kind of got the whole, you remember?
So it's a Xbox Connect.
Well, hopefully a little bit better than that, right? Making it easy to browse, play, and control using your hands. It also utilizes facial recognition and computer vision technology. And it has essentially a switch that allows you to have a desktop unit plugged away from the television itself within the room that turns on and off the television and goes through channels. Now, tell me a little bit about this, Nick. The TVs are always a great thing to have. This Displaced TV is the first TV I've heard of that has batteries plugged into it.
yeah. Well, I mean, short of like carrying a portable television. You remember those old from back in the day?
Yep.
The old cathode rays from like the 80s. But okay, so
Nathan probably has one.
I actually do have one.
Yeah.
I have a black and white and a
I have
color.
one of my
I used to
parents'
throw them away.
No, I got a couple of them. Yeah.
So like I get the concept here, right? But I don't know if I'd want to have to swap batteries out. I understand there's going to be multiple batteries, so it's not like the TV's going to go down. But think about it this way. We're kind of lazy. I mean, we don't want to get off the couch. And now you're telling me eventually, at least once a month, I've got to get off the couch to swap a battery out. I mean, I think it's an interesting concept. I really do. But my question immediately is, why not have some kind of inductive power source? Now, if you didn't hear, recently the Chinese figured out how to power drones in flight using lasers on the ground. Basically, they're using the laser to hit the drone, which is charging the drone. And so the drones can basically fly indefinitely.
Yep.
So why even go with the battery thing? I mean, the other thing too that I think is interesting with this, and I do think it's an interesting concept, don't get me wrong, but suction cups, like I know they're using a whole vacuum seal thing, but given my luck with suction cups, Lord knows, I'm going to hear it crash at like 3 a.m. and think, somebody's like
breaking in. Yeah.
Not so much of the fact, what if you have like a cat?
Yep.
You got a big old fat cat and that thing just tries to climb up on top of your TV. I mean, you really have to convince me that those suction cups are going to withstand earthquakes.
Well, apparently they're magic.
Well, you know what? I never thought about the cat analogy, and I do have a cat, and our cat gets in trouble all the time.
I'm glad Nick is saying all these things, because in my brain, when you're talking about the rechargeables, I'm like, nope. Or suction cup, nope.
Well, what's interesting is they first came out with this product to be like eco-friendly. But then once you have batteries in anything right now, you can't say you're eco-friendly when essentially you're destroying all the nickel battery units that are available there.
Nick,
it's called a displaced TV.
To build batteries.
Displace.
Displace.
DISPLACE TV.
I'm gonna Google it. I'm curious to see what this looks like.
Okay, there you go. All right, you can Google it.
It
All right.
looks like a TV with suction cups.
Yeah.
Like, how big are the suction cups?
They're pretty big because it's a 55-inch, so it's got to support some weight.
Some weight.
It's got to.
I mean, 20 pounds isn't much, but nevertheless, over time, if you've ever stuck anything to a wall with a suction cup, over time, there's got to be something that's.
It'll break down.
I would just be nervous. I'd be nervous about destroying this thing.
And I agree with your human behavior thing.
Yeah,
we're too lazy.
So I'm watching a Cowboys. Let's say I'm a Cowboys fan.
I mean,
I'm watching a Cowboys game. Does the TV all of a sudden start
sliding
down as they keep on losing? So by the time the end of the game, it's just on the floor.
right?
As far as battery swapping, I get irritated when I have to swap out my rechargeable.
Yeah, I sometimes forget it on my Mac mouse.
What do you have to put the battery in?
On the side. It's on the side
TV,
unit.
Though?
Yeah, on the television.
Yeah. So what they're saying is it's hot swappable, meaning there will be 2 batteries. So if one dies, you'll keep running, and then you just pop out and replace the other battery. But I know if I'm like 8 shows into Netflix out of like 20 episodes,
I'm watching Jack Ryan's season finale, and all of a sudden, boom, it's dead.
Right. Oh, I'll get it later, and then it's like 3 weeks later, and my TV dies. I just human nature. I mean, we are couch potatoes at this point.
So Espinosa's house is not going to get one of these. Is that right? Is that correct?
Isn't the average amount of TV watching time over 6 hours?
Yeah. When I saw that, I was like, wow, yeah. That.
I mean, and then you add in like, if you've got kids, the kids are going to use it, then the adults are going to use it.
They'll be climbing up on the wall
on a battery. No, I mean, so it's, I find the concept interesting. I just don't see it widely adopted yet.
All right, here's our next item here. Speaking of kids, toy maker Wowie.
Speaking of you,
wants to have a dog with an attitude. It's called Dog-E, and it's an $80 electronic canine. It's a robotic dog with a personality code deep down in its heart CPU. The dog is a robot pet that is finally completely unique to you. No 2 dogs are alike. They are different in temperament, personalities, and looks, and that's why you will love them. The Wowie thinks that they can bring the 1 in a million appeal to robot dogs. Unboxing the powering up dog, E mints the pup for the first time, setting in motion the robot toy it will become. The ears unfold and lights up, as do the eyes and chest, and the customization of lights and distinct colors tell you that it's a one-of-a-kind dog. So essentially what's happening is you're having people build these dogs, and they have these random parts. So you can get a red eye or a green eye or whatever they decide to throw into your robot. That's what you get for your eyes. So it doesn't have to be the same color. There's no QC on it because every dog is unique. Now, the part about this is the 1 in a million dog concept attributes that it could be a tongue that could become customized, and you could even get a rare dog find with a gold ultra rare tongue.
So this is
a
Cabbage Patch Kid combined with a Furby.
Well, and each of them are uniquely different. Here you go, Nick. You're gonna have one of these in your house.
I mean, one, I don't know much about the company, so I'd vet it to make sure the dog isn't phoning home all of my data somewhere.
They're based out of China. It is based out of China.
It's a China-based.
It is a China-based company.
There you go. But for $80, you get a cute robot dog that imprints itself on the user using some kind of basic artificial intelligence. So I figure until this thing gets reprogrammed to kill us all, it's probably good fun, right? But I think, interestingly enough, this dog could be a really interesting experiment if they do it right, if they're able to learn how to adapt artificial intelligence to human emotions. Meaning, this dog you're supposed to interact with, it's supposed to imprint itself on the user, and it interacts with you in various different ways. And so as I'm interacting, let's say, with this dog versus you, Nathan, or Mike, it's going to be different, meaning the dog's reactions ideally are going to be unique to me because it's responding to me and me alone. Now, if we look at applying that technology elsewhere, we've seen this with like things like I think it was the Honda Fit, or Toyota had something where they were attempting to basically gauge the reaction and emotions of the user and then apply what they thought would be something that would calm the user down or interact with the user, whatever it is. So I think there's some real interesting process here. But just as a toy dog, again, it's as long as it's not on my wireless. I mean, hey, it's fine until it literally goes Terminator on us at some point.
There you go. All right. The Luna pet that we got on Kickstarter, that I brought in, actually won the new invention at the Eureka Park for a robot dog, and this was the second runner-up. So as my Luna dog, though, is phoning home everything I do to it. So I don't know if that's good or bad.
All you have to do is just wait until the command code is put in. And
are you? Let me ask you this: Mike? Are you a tennis shoe guy? Do you have like limited edition Michael Jordan?
No,
Nick,
no.
Are you a tennis shoe guy or a shoe guy?
Is this that thing we were talking about with the
shoe case, which in the spirit of style is coming out from LG's Styler shoe case and shoe care. Operated with the ThinQ app, it can sterilize and deodorize both the inside and outside of a pair of shoes with steam and UV light and the selected care program to be customized for each shoe. It can then safely store shoes in ideal conditions until they're ready to be worn again. The compact box, collaborated on with the New York City fashion guru, essentially has a 360-degree interior turntable, and modular construction allows you to stack these on multiple shoe case boxes. LG has not yet released pricing and market availability for the Style shoe case.
Sounds like purely an ego-driven.
This thing looks kind of interesting. Nick, did you see this? What'd you think about this?
Yeah, so you're talking to a guy that has 3 pairs of shoes.
Okay.
Dress shoes, sneakers, or tennis shoes if you're on the West Coast, and a pair of boots. And that's it. I'm clearly not the target for this audience. Okay. But if I'm into shoes, if I'm that guy that's got those rare Jordan kicks or whatever, I think I'd love this thing.
I think so too. I'm not the same shoe person either. Right? But if I had those and I wanted to display them,
oh my God,
this thing looks amazing.
Oh my God, it looks unbelievable. I mean, I think though that this, like some of the other tech here, really begs the question: is that overall, is this actually needed? You know what I mean? Like, I understand if you've got a shoe collection, but humans have been wearing footwear for millennia. Yeah. And we've never needed something like this, you know?
That's true.
And for the record, it's the same with a robot dog. It seems superfluous, and here we are. But if you're really into shoes, oh my God, absolutely. I would Imelda Marcos the hell out of this thing.
Yeah, this is going to be.
You remember her?
Yeah. If you're going to be a shoe person and you got those limited edition shoes, this is going to be your showcase.
Is that a big thing?
Yes.
Yes. Oh my God, yes.
I used to own a basketball team. Remember back in the day? Yeah. I used to own a professional basketball team, minor league, and every one of my players was into basketball shoes and collected them. And they had like 5 to 7 pairs to play in like 2 games. They go on the road and they literally bring bags of shoes because depending on if the floor was a little bit this or a little bit that, they wanted to have those shoes to have.
So
on.
This is a collectible that somebody uses. This is like, instead of leaving the Star Wars toy in the box, you get it out and play with.
Right. This preserves that. That's an investment. You know, like I have a friend that probably has like 200 plus pairs of shoes, and it's like that rare one-off Nike something or that one-off whatever. Yeah. I mean, you're talking about like in the same way we like climate control artwork. That's essentially what we're talking about here.
So this is the loo for your shoes. Here you go.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Well, I guess if that's your thing.
All right. Our next item as we continue on. Are you going to say something, Odie? Are you excited about the shoes? All right. She says yes. Time. All right. Next one. Samsung unveils the new bespoke lineup for connected and customized kitchen experiences at CES 2023. Now you have the opportunity to live stream your own baking with a camera built inside your oven. It'll be available in North America later in 2023, but Samsung hasn't shared the price point yet. Are Twitch streamers really interested in baking? Can you see this?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm going to say 100% yes, because they've already got, like, people wear the GoPros, people wear where they have it the tripod right next to it. They have, like, 3 different angles for one part of the recipe. I would love to see somebody baking a ratatouille in real time and then live stream it.
This is like watching grass grow, though, isn't it? This is. Nick, help me out here. I may be lonesome here.
People on live streams put rubber bands on watermelon.
Oh, yeah?
You know, and why are you gonna watch that for the eventual explosion?
Yeah.
What?
Did you ever see Gallagher?
No.
I mean,
Do you even know who Gallagher is?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll have to. You can Google that too. All right.
Honestly, why in the name of the Great British Baking Show do we need this?
So that's what I do kind of say that. There's already like 12 channels of baking
I don't know.
right now you can watch.
Unless you're Rachel Ray, like, you really don't need this. I think, and no offense to Odie if you watch these things, but I think this is like influencer vanity at its finest.
Yeah.
I don't.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's really what it is. But I also don't want to see my oven hacked.
Well, I get the idea of watching somebody prepare something.
Okay.
I don't get the idea of watching it bake in the oven. That doesn't make any sense to me.
I would like to say, though, it would be nice of a nicer angle instead of having the glass in front of the door.
Yeah.
But if it was time-lapsed, I'd like that a lot more.
I'm sure that'll come out with it.
Yeah.
Well, that's probably.
I have no doubt. And to that point, I think anybody wants to be a baking influencer outside of like the food TV or the 800 channels there are would be all over this.
Yep.
I just don't. It's just one more IoT device I have to defend.
Yeah,
that's my 250 plus item on my wireless
when I make
network.
a pizza, I don't stand around watching it cook.
All right, okay. Well, Nick,
I glance at it through the glass.
That's right.
Yeah.
We're halfway done. We're gonna have to take a commercial break. When we come on back, we still have Mike's mesmerizing moment, technology fail of the week, and this week in technology. We will be continuing the best of the best after our commercial break, but we will see you after this.
This is Marc
and Greg
for Copiers Northwest
with a terrific offer
called Printer Care Plus.
It's simple. Buy HP printer cartridges from Copiers Northwest and we'll service your current printers for free.
That sounds too good to be true.
It's made possible due to our HP Copiers Northwest relationship.
Copiers Northwest is an HP Platinum partner,
one of only 2 in the entire Northwest.
And now with Printer Care Plus,
Copiers Northwest will provide free printer service
as long as they purchase genuine HP cartridges from Copiers Northwest.
That's right. IT departments no longer have to service printers
or fix paper jams with Printer Care Plus.
They can focus on more strategic initiatives
and let our experienced technicians keep their HP printers up and running.
Sounds like a love-love relationship for IT departments.
Don't get too carried away. So how do they get more details on Printer Care Plus?
Call Copiers Northwest today, 206-282-1200, or visit copiersnw.com.
Copiers Northwest. New ideas, new solutions.
And now, let's look back at this week in technology.
All right, we're going to January 22nd, 1984. Apple introduces the Macintosh. Apple Computer broadcasts their now famous 1984 commercial introducing the Macintosh during the third quarter of the 1984 Super Bowl. It was the first and last time this ad was truly broadcast. However, it's a little-known piece of information and trivia that essentially was aired one time before at 1 a.m. on December 15, 1983 in Twin Falls, Idaho, but only so that the advertisement could be submitted to the awards ceremony for that year. A 30-second version also ran in theaters starting January 17th, but it was the broadcast during the Super Bowl that people understood and took notice to. I somehow remember that truly special moment with Apple launching to be the leader in the educational space that very same year. That was their push. Remember they went into all the schools? That was it. Apple couldn't get the consumer market, so they would go to the educational market and push, knowing that it would result in people using their products at a later time. Well, that was This Week in Technology. If you ever wanted to watch some Tech Time history with 2 years of videos, podcasts, and blog information, you can visit TechTimeRadio.com to watch our older shows or join the Tech Timers Facebook group and talk to us live all the time. We're going to take a commercial break. When we return, we have Marc's Mumble whiskey review, and of course we have our continuation to our CES Best of the Best 2023 Oddities. We'll see you after the break. TechTime Radio is brought to you today by Nutility, the platform that makes utility management seamless by selecting your service providers, splitting a single bill amongst roommates, and then shutting off your service when it's time for you to move out. Nutility reviews your preferences and sets up all the utilities for you. This provides you with the best local provider in your service area. It's much easier than splitting up your bills between roommates. No more late Larry, not being able to get to you on time to make the payments, and no more Venmo charges or PayPal charges. One place to do your billing so that everybody pays on time. Now, how can you use this great service from Nutility, you ask? Aha! Well, you can absolutely get it now and get 3 months for free. That's correct. If you go to Nutility.com, again, it kind of sounds like utility, but it's Nutility.com. Use the tech code 3, and again, that's NUTILITI.com. Get your first 3 months for free using the code TECH3.
The segment we've been waiting all week for. Marc's Whiskey Mumble.
Oh, it's funny that you talked about the Macintosh because January 24th is Macintosh Day.
Oh, is it really?
Yep.
Okay.
Celebrates the same day in 1984 when the first Macintosh computer, predecessor of today's Apple computers, was introduced to the public. So
okay.
There you go.
Okay.
As to Marc's Mumble, Nathan again chose a flavored whiskey. Why? Marc has no idea. Bourbon and root beer can make a delicious mix. Marc wants to know why buy a cheap premix when one can simply use a nicer, preferable, high-proof whiskey and craft root beer to make a delicious drink.
Okay.
Mix your own to get a more complex and rich drink versus the sickly sweet and medicinal concoction.
So are you?
That is Marc's. Yes,
you're kind of agreeing on the medicinal.
I'm agreeing on that.
On the medicinal purpose.
As it breathed a little bit and it went on, the licorice flavor became more overwhelming.
We may be on different opinions on this because I'm still enjoying them. All right, well,
you do.
Thank you, Marc and Mike, for that mumble. Now we're going to continue our best of the best from CES 2023. Part 2, where we have Nick Espinosa on. He's an expert in cybersecurity and network infrastructure. Nick has consulted with clients ranging from small business to the Fortune 100 level. In 1998, at the age of 19, Nick founded Windy City Networks, later acquired in 2015. Nick, thank you for joining us. We got a next product we're moving right on to. It's the Ring Always Home Cam. Now this is something that I actually tried to figure out how to sign up for. I am digging this. This is essentially a drone camera that flies through your house on a predetermined path that essentially keep your home secure when you're away. You know the Ring, like the Ring doorbell?
Yeah.
So this is Ring Solution.
So this is a
drone.
A little security guard.
Yeah, it's like a drone comes on out, it flies around in your area. Just think if you have a dog or a cat or anything at your house, this thing is going to be going across there. They're going to be jumping at this all over everywhere, trying to see if they can knock it down. Nick, is this an aspect that you would have, or would you say pass?
Pass.
Pass.
Capital P.
Why is that?
Why are you going to bug your home?
Well,
this is Amazon that we are talking about here. This thing has cameras. It's integrating everything that they are basically pulling out information and sending it back to Amazon in the same way that Amazon was caught wanting to know basically the commands you were sending the Amazon Echo to turn off your lights and when. So they knew when you went to bed, they knew when you went to sleep. It's the same issue that we've got with the Roomba. This thing now is an Amazon product. It comes with a camera. It can map out your house. All of this telemetry and information is being sent back to Amazon. And so from a privacy standpoint, this thing's an absolute and utter nightmare. So while I'm a big fan of drones, this absolutely not. Why are you going to bug your house? Like that's what I just don't get. And I'm not one of these people that has all the smart home stuff. The closest thing I have is a printer, and next to the printer is a gun. So if it makes a noise I don't like, I can shoot it. That's about it.
I have a Roomba.
That is a level of technology that I am looking at my house outside of my computers that I know I can make private. So,
okay. All right. So you wouldn't want to come over to the Mumm house because we got Amazon Echoes and We got this and that. We got our whole thing. We're just advertising to China everything that we do. You know what? My philosophy is if I just give them everything, then I'm not very interesting, and they'll go bug somebody else. There you go.
Why I send my passwords to Russia. But the point is that when I walk into your house, do you have a sign that says you consent to be on camera?
Oh, I do not. I do not. No, I do not. No.
You probably should do that.
I probably should do that. Okay, the next thing we're going to go to, the Robosen Optimus Prime Transformer that actually transformed. This is a toy that essentially has the ability to transform into Optimus Prime, the hero of the Autobots, and it moves from robot form to the semi-truck, just like you saw on the cartoons. Now, you need to have one of these in your house, right?
I don't.
You don't? Nick, are you going to have this in your house?
So 5-year-old Nick would have killed for this.
Okay.
Absolutely killed for this. I love Transformers growing up, but now that I'm old, it's like, why do you got to go ruin my childhood, Michael Bay? You know, and we've seen this. We've seen this entire revitalization of this. I think this is pretty cool, to be perfectly honest. I mean, it seems like it's a fun reboot of, you know, the original toys and all of that. You know, but yeah. I think it's
$399. You're paying for a Transformer that transforms automatically.
I'm not paying $399 for that. Okay. But feel free to gift me one. I'd be perfectly fine with that.
Go. Christmas is coming.
Yeah, no.
There you go. All right, we got one last we're going to go to. Do not pay AI lawyer. Now listen to this. The Do Not Pay AI Lawyer Company is the first AI-powered robot lawyer that will represent a defendant in court next month. The robot lawyer powered by artificial intelligence will be the first of its kind to help a defendant fight a traffic ticket in court. Joshua Browder, the CEO of Do Not Pay, said the company's AI creation runs on a smartphone, listens to court arguments, and formulates responses for the defendant. The AI lawyer tells the defendant what to say in real time through the headphones. What do we think about this? A robot lawyer, February 22nd. Is he going to be defending Nick Espinosa and his family?
I absolutely love this.
Okay.
100%. And okay, outside of like, okay, maybe they're collecting data on me on the parking tickets or speeding tickets I'm getting. This company's actually been around for years. It was started out of Silicon Valley, and the creator that you mentioned started with basically ingesting all of the laws for parking. And essentially, when he would get parking tickets, you could go to this with a parking ticket, and it would give you the actual loopholes that you could submit to your local government to get out of parking tickets. I love this. This needs to be expanded. Like, and the example that I can think of off the top of my head is taxes, right? No accountant, no U.S. accountant has read the 85,000 plus pages of the U.S. tax code. It's not possible. You specialize in one thing or the other. But imagine an AI that has read every single word, knows every single loophole, every single thing that basically says, Nick, you don't have to pay taxes for 10 years, you know, because your pets are now considered livestock or something. I would absolutely love to see that. That is something I think is the future. And I think what it's going to do reflexively is actually change how we approach writing and creating laws here in the United States to make it more simple, because if the AIs are getting us around the laws, they're useless to the politicians.
What did you say the best part about this was, Mike? It helps replace lawyers?
Replace lawyers.
That's right.
Well, in some ways, right. I mean, it's one thing to have like two artificial intelligences going after each other on one side of or another on a divorce.
Yep.
But if we're talking about like a speeding ticket, oh my God. Like, absolutely. Like, tell me the statute in the county that I got pulled over in that gets me out of this. I'd be down for that.
All right. Okay, so we are out of time. We're going to have to move. Nick, we had one other item, but I kind of fell at the bottom, I think, once I started doing research on it. It was a Tesla version of this super boat that's on the air. So maybe we'll talk about that on one of my off shows. Nick, I hope you enjoyed it. This was a little different, right? You know, this isn't kind of talking about security stuff. We'll get you back next week. But since I was doing the CES deal with James, I figured you'd be perfect too. And next week, you got to listen to boring stuff about laptops and phones and tablet screens that flip and fold and do a bunch of other craziness. So thank you so much for joining the show today.
Bye, Nick.
Thanks for having me. See you guys.
All right. Now let's get ready to move to our pick of the day, whiskey tasting.
And now our pick of the day for our whiskey tastings. Let's see what bubbles to the top.
All right. Today we are sampling the Ellington Reserve Root Beer Whiskey, 70 proof, 1999. It's distilled by United States Distilled Products Company, flavored whiskey, 70 proof, $19. All right, what are you thinking, Mr. Gourdet? Is that a thumbs down?
Thumbs down.
Thumbs down. You'd rather...
I don't like it.
You'd rather mix your whiskey and put your own flavor in there?
Yep.
All right, Odie, what did you think of it?
Thumbs down.
Thumbs down.
Yeah.
You know,
I liked it, but I didn't like the aftertaste.
it does have that. It does have. You know what? Now that I kept it open, it has that licoricey. That has that licoricey.
It has a very licorice
taste, and I can't get rid of it. It's on the top of my tongue now, and it's like blah 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 blah. So you know what? I'm gonna actually give it a thumbs down. Also, when I was talking all smack about it being really good, I guess it'd be easier to buy a Dad's root beer, buy some Kentucky's Best whiskey, and mix them together, and you probably get the same taste. All right. Well, we're almost out of time here. We want to thank our listeners for joining the program. We want to make sure that if you would like to be a part of Tech Time Radio, you can click on the Be a Caller and ask us a question on technology in our talkback recording system on TechTimeRadio.com. You can always stay connected by signing up for our newsletter and stay up to date on technology. From all of us here at Tech Time Radio, it was an honor to be the host of today's show. I wish you a great week. Remember, the science of tomorrow starts with the technology of today.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us on Tech Time Radio. We hope that you had a chance to have that moment today in technology. The fun doesn't stop there. We recommend that you go to TechTimeRadio.com and join our fan list for the most important aspect of staying connected and winning some really great monthly prizes. We also have a few other ways to stay connected, including subscribing to our podcast on any podcast service, from Apple to Google and everything in between. We're also on YouTube, so check us out on youtube.com/TechTimeRadio, all one word. We hope you enjoyed the show as much as we did making it for you. From all of us at Tech Time Radio, remember, Mumm's the word. Have a safe and fantastic week.